Good Thursday evening. ABC 10 meteorologist Brendan Minchef here with an extended weather update because today was the break between two storms. We had rain on Wednesday. We're going to have rain on Friday and into Saturday as well. We're also going to have some Sierra snow to talk about. So let's jump right into the forecast. We'll start with what we saw yesterday. So here's just a sampling of some rainfall totals around Northern California. Nevada City, almost 9/10 of an inch of rain. Beale Air Force Base, 8/10 of an inch of rain. Vacaville, almost half an inch. Same story in Auburn. Roseville and downtown Sacramento, right around 35/100 of an inch. That's what we got. Again, right about downtown, officially 34/100. 3/10 of an inch. Modesto, about 1/4 of an inch, really, in Lodi. And then right around 1500 in Stockton and Davis. Modesto had a thunderstorm roll through. That's why their numbers are so much greater than Stockton's. Honestly, Modesto got about twice as much rain as what Stockton saw. So this is just round one. Again, there is more to come. But today, Thursday, was the break. Some highs around Northern California, 66 downtown Sacramento, 64 Sacramento Executive, 66 in Stockton, 64 in Modesto. And as you can see, Stockton tied the record high for today. The downtown record high was in the low 70s, so we were not in danger of breaking that. But still, these temperatures are running really about 10 degrees above normal for the time of year. We should be right around the middle 50s, but we were in the middle 60s today. We'll be back there again tomorrow in terms of high temperature, but Saturday, Sunday, and into 2024 will be a different story because of some colder air coming in. Taking a look at radar and satellite on Thursday evening, not much to see in Northern California. Some very, very spotty showers, especially as you work your way up towards Chico, Redding, up towards Shasta. Not so much down in the capital city and not even that much in the Bay Area either. But the center of that low pressure is working its way towards the Golden State, and it is bringing a lot of rain with it as well. Here's that atmospheric river pulling in a lot of moisture from the central Pacific there, and this is going to be making its way in just about 24 hours time. Well, I'll say, because you may not watch this video right as I post it, so I will say instead of 24 hours time, right around Friday afternoon. So really between about 3 o'clock and 5 p.m. tomorrow is that window for the next round of rain to arrive. And you'll see that here on the day planner for Sacramento and much of the valley. 51 to start the morning off, 55 by 10 a.m., 60 degrees at noon. Then we start to introduce just a few spotty shower chances, about 10% right around noon. But really, it ramps up between noon and about 2 o'clock. Now, 40% chance around 2 o'clock, and then 80 to 100% chance as we work through the evening hours on Friday. So the first half of the day is dry. Your commute to work on Friday morning, if you are going to work, will be just fine in the valley. There's going to be no issues out there, maybe a little breezy, especially if you're going later on in the morning, but just fine. The evening commute will be a much different story. It will be much wetter, and I do expect heavy rain as well during that Friday evening commute. So, like I said, tomorrow temperatures are going to be back in those middle 60s, about 66 in Stockton, Modesto, 65 Elk Grove, 63 Sacramento, 64 Marysville, 62 in Oroville, 50s and 60s in the foothills, and then right around 50 degrees up in the high country. Same story out on the Bay Area. We're going to be in those low to middle 60s. Dry first half of the day, wetter second half of the day. If you're out in San Francisco, you're out in the Bay Area, that rain's going to get there earlier. It's going to get there in the late morning, early lunchtime hours. It'll be in the valley right along that I-5 corridor by the mid to late afternoon. So let's jump into it. Let's take a look at Futurecast. We'll start with a zoomed out view of Northern California. Cloudy from Thursday evening through the overnight hours in towards lunchtime tomorrow. Then rain starts to make its way in by that evening commute. And like I said, right along that I-5 corridor across the valley, we are going to see heavy rain Friday evening. And then that cold front pushes through, and for Saturday morning through the early afternoon hours, we're going to see some snow up in the Sierra. Everything tapers off by the time we get late in the day on Saturday into Sunday. Let's zoom in a little bit here, focus more on the Sacramento, Stockton, Modesto region, and we'll go a little bit slower this time as well. So back to Thursday evening, and we see clouds in the area, but they're just clouds. We stay dry through lunchtime tomorrow. In the valley, if you're out in the Bay Area, right around lunchtime tomorrow, late morning, really centered around noon, that's when we see those showers really start to make their way onshore around noon tomorrow. In the valley, we have a couple more hours to go. We might even see a little bit of sunshine ahead of these storms, the heavy rain and the snow as well. We might have what looks to be a sunny day up in the Sierra tomorrow ahead of this system. By the time the cold front makes its way in, it's going to be about 4 or 5 o'clock. Winds will be picking up as well. We're going to have some gusty southerly winds across the valley, and then we're going to get those downpours. So you see those colors there, some oranges, even some reds as well, as we go from about 4 to 6 p.m. as those storms make their way across the valley. And again, if you are working tomorrow and you're going home right around 5 o'clock, you're going to have to contend with those breezy conditions and that heavy rain as well. Ponding on roadways, it's not going to be fun to drive Friday evening. That cold front continues to push east as we go through Friday evening into Saturday morning. And we notice now the foothills getting in on the action with a lot of rain. Then we start to see those snow showers develop and the snow levels drop as well. So as soon as that cold front pushes over the Sierra, those snow levels will drop as low as about 5,500 feet potentially on Saturday morning. And we're going to see a decent amount of snow even at pass level. We could see 8 to about 12 inches at the passes. In the valley, we're going to continue to see scattered showers through Saturday morning, although it'll be tapering off as Saturday wears on. So by the time we get to lunchtime and early afternoon Saturday, just very spotty showers, and snow starts to taper off by the time we get into Saturday afternoon as well. Once we get to Saturday late in the day, so late evening, this is about 11 p.m., just a few spotty showers left, and we're not seeing anything in the way of snow either. So it's relatively quick moving, where it'll be impacting us late Friday and most of the day Saturday, and then done certainly by the time we wake up on Sunday. How much more rain can we expect to see? Well, models are putting out about 1.5 inches across the valley by the time we wake up on Sunday morning for the last day of the year. So another 1.5 inches on top of the relatively, 1/4 of an inch to 3/4 of an inch that we saw just a minute ago on that graphic on the rain that fell Wednesday. So when you put the two storms together, we could see anywhere from about 2 to 3 inches total, again, from those two storms. This is just what is left to fall with the storm coming in this weekend. That's one of the models. Here's the European model here, the Euro model. Also some pretty good agreement there, about 1 inch or more across most of the valley. So some decent rain totals, especially when you consider the storm's really going to push in Friday and be winding down through the daytime on Saturday. And a lot of that rain is going to fall Friday evening. It'll be very heavy, I expect, during those commute hours like we talked about. It is a winter impact as well. Of course, winter storm, right? It is that time of year, but this is truly going to be a winter storm because there's a winter weather advisory out. We're expecting about 8 to 12 inches of snow above 6,000 feet. And of course, that means travel impacts are expected at the passes. So winter weather advisory from everywhere, or for everywhere, you see in purple from Yosemite National Park all the way up towards Alaska, including places like Truckee, South Lake Tahoe, Echo Summit along 5080. You're going to see impacts. So if you're going to be driving through the mountains for the New Year's weekend, I recommend leaving during the first half of the day on Friday. So noon-ish or earlier on Friday, and don't drive again until we get to Sunday. That would be the best thing you can do to avoid most of the impacts from this storm. Talk a little bit more about the winter impact. So Friday evening, those snow levels going to start off about 6,500 feet. So pretty quickly, as that storm moves in, we're going to see those snow levels drop towards and below pass level. So really by 6, 7, 8 p.m. on Friday, we should be seeing snow at the passes. As Friday turns into Saturday, those snow levels are going to drop even more, be somewhere between 5,500 and 6,000 feet as we go through the early day on Saturday. Snow levels continue to fall, maybe as low as 5,000 feet late on Saturday. So we're talking now 3, 4, 5 o'clock onwards. But like we saw in Futurecast, that storm's really going to be winding down at that point. So snow really not expected anywhere below 5,500 feet, maybe some flurries below that later on in the afternoon on Saturday. But generally, your impacts are going to be 6,000 feet or above, which is where that winter weather advisory is going into effect. These pass levels here, you see 7,200 feet, 7,300, almost 7,400 feet at Echo. So we're definitely going to be seeing snow up there. Chain controls are likely. This is why I'm saying if you're planning on going up to the mountains and you can leave during the first half of the day on Friday, that would be best. And then don't travel back down, or don't really travel through the Sierra at all if you can help it until Sunday, because that's how you're going to avoid most of the winter travel impacts. Model snowfall totals, This is showing about 5 inches across most of the Sierra here. But again, the forecast is really about 8 to 12 inches possible at pass level. That was the American model. This is the European model, and there's good agreement in the amount of snow that we're going to see. When we get above pass level, closer to 8,000 plus feet, now we're talking about 1 to 2 feet of snow. So this is looking like a much better storm, certainly the best of the previous 3 storms or so that we've had for ski resorts. So much better snowmaker for the ski resorts. Also going to create those winter travel impacts, which is something we haven't had a lot of just yet. There's one more thing we got to talk about, though, aside from the winter travel, which I'll just touch on one more time. The Winter Storm Severity Index from the National Weather Service through Sunday. There it is. You can see the yellow colors are those minor impacts to moderate impacts in those orange colors. So this is going to be something you got to take seriously, something to try to plan around if you can help it. But the other thing that we got to talk about is the wind potential as well. So high pressure sitting over the Mountain West right now. Low pressure sitting out over the Pacific, and that is our next storm that's coming in. What we're looking at here, these white lines are your sea level pressure, and then the colors here are your wind speeds. And so what's going to happen is as this low pressure starts to work its way even closer to the coast over the next 24 hours, it's going to start to kind of squish against this high pressure, and your gradient is going to tighten. Your pressure gradient is going to tighten. And what happens is the wind is going to move faster in between the low pressure and the high pressure. So we'll put a loop on here, and you can see as this storm approaches, those wind speeds are starting to pick up, and they're out of the south. So if you are in the Bay Area, you know this very well. If you're along the Central Coast, you know this very well. You've had a lot of high tide recently. You've also had a lot of coastal flooding over the last 24 hours or so. That's due to a couple reasons. One, it is high tide right now. That doesn't help. But then it's really lined up perfectly with this incoming storm, where you're getting the winds pushing even more of that water towards the coast. So we're getting large waves. Those sea levels are already high right now because of the higher tide, and then you're just pushing more water up against the coast. That's why we've had a lot of that coastal flooding. That'll change a little bit as we go in towards tomorrow, so Friday, Saturday, because the angle of that wind will change to become a lot more southerly as opposed to southwesterly. But what that means in the valley is that we are going to see those wind speeds pick up on Friday. So by lunchtime Friday, wind gusts of about 20 to 25 miles per hour are expected. We do have some wind advisories that are going to affect for the coastal range and right along the immediate coast there. As the cold front moves in, again, those winds are going to be strongest ahead of the front. So as that cold front moves in, we're going to see those wind speeds pick up even more. Once the cold front passes through on Friday, those wind speeds drop, and we'll see them return to just kind of a bit of a breeze. And so again, the strongest winds are going to coincide with the heaviest rain as well. So that's something that we're contending with on Friday, and then Friday into Saturday is when that snow story really starts. Once we get beyond Saturday, the forecast dries out. New Year's Eve looking pretty good, although it will be cloudy really for most of the daytime and the evening hours as well. So 56 degrees, but mostly cloudy. New Year's Day, sunny. Those clouds will be clearing, especially in the afternoon. I expect mostly to completely sunny skies. That doesn't mean our rain chances are completely gone, though. As we look the next 10 days, this is for Northern California. 63 Friday ahead of that cold front. That cold front moves through, and then our highs drop into the 50s. Saturday, 59 degrees, rainy. Late in the day Friday, rainy, at least in the valley. Spotty showers developing through the afternoon hours on Saturday. Then we dry out Sunday for the last day of the year. First day of the year, sunny skies, 57 degrees. And then we see a couple more rain chances developing. So about Wednesday, 56 degrees. And when I'm tracking another system moving on through. Doesn't look to be a super impactful system as things stand right now, but we still could have some winter impacts and some rain in the valley that kind of might make for some messy commutes. Then we dry out for a couple days again, and then as you look out towards the very end of the forecast, Saturday, Sunday, the first Saturday, Sunday in January, then we see more chances of some rain. So the overall pattern for January, as things stand right now, the overall pattern, not talking any specific days or weeks, it's starting to become a little bit more favorable for storms to make their way through California. So just something to keep in mind as we turn the calendar over to 2024 is that the dry stretches that we've had for a lot of November and December kind of looks like it may be coming to an end, where we may have these quick moving storms, but they're starting to pick up in frequency, where maybe we have one or two kind of every week. Again, can't say exact timing, dates, locations, impacts, nothing like that, because I'm just talking about the overall weather pattern of like a very high level stuff. It's just becoming a little bit more favorable, which is good news, right? January is typically our rainiest month in Northern California. So it would be expected, especially since we still have El Nino out there, like what we talked about in yesterday's video. And speaking of yesterday's video, if you missed it, you want to go back and look at the Pacific North American oscillation that we talked about the El Nino that we talked about yesterday as well. You can find that in the weather playlist at ABC 10 Plus. Those in-depth forecasts, weather specials like mega flood, water wasted, the California drought series, live local always on. It's on that Apple TV. You can download it, Roku or Fire TV. This is the first place those forecasts go, and there's just tons of weather content up there. So if you enjoy the content that we produce here at ABC 10, you're going to definitely want to download this ABC 10 Plus app. Thanks for watching.